I have notes here, so it's going to be super informal. I'm going to be looking through and just sharing more, asking you different questions to help you on your process towards forgiveness, to help you to think more, have more introspection, and just figure out where you are in your journey and perhaps what's keeping you stuck. All right, so let's just get into it. Actually, before I start, I forgot to introduce myself. If you have never watched any of my videos, my name is Cheryl Jackson, and to put it simply, I just love to help people learn how to get out of their own way so that they can live the life they were created for. So if that's a train that you would like to hop on, hit subscribe, press the bell so you can get notified. And if you don't see me here, you can find me on Instagram at Flourish. Okay, let's get right into it. If you're watching this, then I guess it's safe to assume that you would like to forgive, but maybe you just don't know how. Someone on Instagram, one of my lovely friends on Instagram, messaged me this question, and that is what inspired this video today. Hopefully these questions will help you to be able to think deeper and to have better understanding of yourself and where you are on your forgiveness journey. These questions that I'm asking, or I'm going to ask you, are really good things for you to keep reflecting on even after you watch this. So if you need to, pause the video, get a pen and paper. Okay, so the first thing I would like for you to think about is, do you really want to forgive this person? Now, I know that may seem like a strange question, but it actually is really important because there's a difference between not knowing how to forgive a person and simply not wanting to. And sometimes we say, like, I want to forgive this person, but I don't know how, But the truth is that it's not that you don't know how, it's that a part of you really does not want to, either because you still feel so angry or so hurt by what happened to you. You're still so caught up in those feelings. You feel all the emotions, you feel all the hurt, and you feel all of those things. And you're saying that you want to forgive because you don't want to feel those icky things anymore. But until you address your feelings, you're never going to be able to move through those feelings to get to the point of wanting to forgive them. Because as long as you still are holding on to the hurt, to the anger, to the frustration, there's a part of you, a piece of you that doesn't want to forgive them, either because you feel they don't deserve it, or because you feel like somehow allowing yourself to hold on to the forgiveness will keep you from trusting them again, and you don't want to trust them again. So there could be multiple reasons why, but that's the first question that you really have to think about for yourself. Am I really at the point that I want to forgive them? Do I want to forgive them? If your answer is no, that you realize that I really don't want to forgive them, I really am angry, that is the place to start. That's a wonderful place to start, because now you can be honest and true with yourself. You know, yeah, I don't want to forgive this person, I'm still too angry. So you know what you're supposed to work on now. You're supposed to deal with and process through your anger. Or you're like, I still feel too hurt, I feel violated by what they did to me. That's where you start. You start with those emotions. You get either whatever it may be, as far as therapy, books, coaching, courses, whatever it may be, but you focus on those emotions, on the hurt, on the feelings. That is where you get your help. And from there, that's when you can move on towards the next stages, which does lead to forgiveness. The second question that I have for you is, how do you feel about yourself when it comes to this situation? If you're not honest with yourself about how you feel about yourself, then you may not recognize that not only are you struggling to forgive the person, but you're also struggling to forgive yourself. And because of that, even when you are trying to forgive the person, because you haven't been able to forgive yourself, you aren't able to move forward. So what do I mean? Because sometimes, people are saying, or you may be thinking that you didn't do anything wrong. Why would you struggle to forgive yourself? There are cases where people don't realize that it's subconscious. They're not realizing that they blame themselves. They are blaming themselves for what happened. Why did I let myself trust them? Why did I go to that place? Why did I marry them? I'm so stupid. Why did I do that? I'm so stupid. Why didn't I listen to myself when I was given signs that this was a bad thing? Maybe you even feel disappointed with yourself, like, I should have known better. Like, why didn't I know better? And so not only is your anger or your emotions turned outward, but it's also turned inward toward yourself, because you are blaming yourself for what was done to you, and somehow thinking that if you had just done this or that, or known this or that, or was smarter with this or that, then none of this would have happened. It is super important for you to be able to forgive yourself as well as forgiving others. Because if you cannot forgive yourself, that is what is going to be even harder than your attempt to forgive others, because you can't leave yourself. You carry yourself with you, you know, there's no way to turn it off. With others, if you don't see them, or if you're not around them, or if you're not triggered, then it can be easy to numb yourself from the pain that others was done to you, but it's very hard to numb yourself from yourself. So that is a question that's really important for you to think about. Am I blaming myself? Do I need to forgive myself? Is there a part of me that is believing that I had a role in this, and if I had only done something different, then it wouldn't have hurt me as bad, or would have never gotten this far? These are all questions that you have to explore, dive deeper into, and really ask yourself where the unforgiveness is. Is it just with you? Is it just with others? Or is it with both? The third question that I want you to ask yourself is, am I using my unforgiveness as a shield to protect myself? So what I mean is, are you afraid to forgive because somehow holding on to the unforgiveness makes you feel safer, because it makes you feel like you won't repeat the same mistake? So maybe by holding on to unforgiveness, in a way it helps you to feel safe and protected, because it is shielding you from continuing in a relationship with this person, or going deeper in a relationship with this person, and so it's protecting your heart, because by not doing that, you feel like you are allowing yourself not to get hurt anymore. It will help you to not trust people that don't deserve your trust. You're using it as a protection so that you don't continue to make the same mistake or fall into the same trap. So that's definitely something that I think is fairly common. So if you do find yourself doing that, please don't beat yourself up. That is very common. Our brain is always looking for ways to protect us, always. And so it very well could be a case that you do want to forgive, but you're also terrified to forgive. You could be terrified, extremely afraid, because you are connecting forgiveness with trust, or forgiveness with starting again with that person, or even you're connecting forgiveness with, now I have to have this person in my life and go back to the way things were. Or even you're connecting forgiveness with the fact of not remembering, not learning from the lessons, and so there's a chance that the same thing could happen to you all over again. So it's really important for you to remember that forgiveness and all of those other things that I mentioned before, they are not synonyms, they are not the same thing, they are not related. The only thing that forgiveness is freedom. Forgiveness is freedom. That's what it is. Forgiveness is freedom. Forgiveness is not saying, I will trust you again, to have my heart the way you had it before. That has to be earned, right? Forgiveness is not saying that I am gonna forget all that happened to me, forget it, ignore it, not acknowledge it, not learn from the lessons from it. It didn't happen, I'm moving forward. And so because you're doing that, then you're setting yourself up to repeat the same events. That is not forgiveness. Forgiveness is not forgetting, ignoring, not acknowledging. No, those are actually inappropriate coping mechanisms. Forgiveness only is freedom for yourselves, not even for the other person. It's freedom for yourself. And we'll talk about that a bit more. Okay, moving on to the next question. Now this question is for if you feel like you keep forgiving a person and then finding out that you didn't really forgive them, and so now you're trying to forgive them again. So if you find yourself caught in that cycle, then this is the question that I have for you. Have you really been working on forgiveness, or have you more been focusing on avoiding, dismissing, and forgetting? So the reason why sometimes we find ourselves caught in that cycle of thinking we forgive and we moved on and we think we feel good, and then realize, okay, we're triggered and we're like, okay, I did not forgive this person. I still am all caught up in my feelings, the whole thing. The reason why this happens is because we ignored what I was talking about with the first question. we ignore the emotions that are tied to what happened to us, and we just jump right to, okay, I'm going to forgive. And we do that because we do not want to feel the feelings. We just want to move forward. But forgiveness requires action. It is not a passive thing. So it requires action. It requires you facing the emotions. It requires you facing and entertaining the thoughts of the messiness of everything, of the whole situation, not trying to suppress it, not trying to dismiss it, not trying to ignoring it. You have to address the mess. You have to allow yourself to come face to face, keep coming face to face with the mess in order for you to clean it up. And then through the process of cleaning it up, that's how you forgive. And so you already have the freedom, because that's what forgiveness is, right? You have to be willing to talk about it in order to forgive it. And don't misconstrue the calm that comes with absence. So not seeing the person anymore, not thinking of them, ignoring, numbing yourself. Sometimes that can bring a false sense of calm. And we misconstrue that with forgiveness. We think we've forgiven because we have the calm of not acknowledging or remembering or thinking about what was done. Those are two different things. Forgiveness requires honesty. It requires honesty with yourself about what happened to you. It requires honesty regarding your feelings, your emotions about the situation. It requires honesty all the way around. You cannot forgive if you are not being honest with yourself, because you won't even know what you're forgiving. Those are the questions that I have for you that I really want you to ask yourself, not just in this moment, but continuously over and over. Sarah Montana, I hope I'm saying her name right. She had I believe her mother and her brother was killed by her neighbor. And she talks about, I'm going to link the YouTube video somewhere up here. She talks about her process of forgiveness for the murderer. And it is a really good video. It's definitely something I encourage you to watch if you need more tools to help you on this process. It's a wonderful video. And now I have the 2 bonus tips for you when it comes to forgiveness. And these aren't questions, they're just quick tips. Tip number 1, the only way to allow yourself to no longer be connected to what happened to you or to the person is to go through the process of forgiveness. Sometimes we don't want to go through the process because we don't want the connection to the person, to the event. We don't want to remember. We don't want to think about it. We don't even want to entertain that. Like, we don't even want to we think we're giving power to the situation or to the person by allowing them access to our thoughts and our mind. But whether you choose to forgive or not, you are already connected to the person because of what happened to you. So forgiveness is a gift for you. It's not for them. And please, if you are watching this video and you have people in your family, or maybe you are a person that needs the forgiveness, please, that is something that's important to remember. Forgiveness is not for you. It's for them. You cannot rush them to forgive you or to forgive someone that's in your family or in your circle because you so badly want things to go back to normal. You want everything to be good again. You want like, I don't know, the camaraderie, all of that, or you want the relationship back. You cannot rush a process that's not for you. Forgiveness is not intended for you. It is not a gift for you. It is a gift for the person. It's a gift for them. So allow them to go through their process, to go through their journey, and don't make something about you. If you're in need of the forgiveness, that is something that you really have to remember. They are not forgiving you for you. They're not. They're forgiving you for them. And you have to allow them to get to that point. And the second tip that I have is that when you forgive, true forgiveness lets go of any expectation. The only expectation that is desired or wanted or even guaranteed when it comes to forgiveness is freedom. So you're not forgiving someone with the expectation that they'll reply back, that they will apologize also, that they will change, that things will get back to normal, that they'll receive it, or even felt like they needed it. With true forgiveness, there cannot be any expectation besides for freedom. That is the guaranteed result with forgiveness. Forgiveness frees you in your life. It gives you your life back in order to live something that was never meant for them and only for you. So please remember that when you're working and doing all of the work to forgive, you are not doing it for any other reason besides for freedom for yourself. for you to be able to live the life that you were created for, that you were given to be able to live that life fully and freely. That is the only expectation. Their response, what happens after with that relationship, what happens after with those events, all of that, those should not be the result of forgiveness. True forgiveness has to only be as a gift for yourself. Okay, those are the questions that I have for you. Those are my tips. I really hope that this was helpful. If you have additional questions for me on this topic, please put it in the comments below. I would love to hear what you find is the hardest thing when it comes to forgiveness. Yeah, I would love to hear that. Please let me know below. In the meantime, I will catch you in my next video or on Instagram. And never forget that you were created to live boldly and flourish. So please go do that.